Buying a horse should be such an exciting experience, but unfortunately in the horse world there are a ton of dishonest people. In this video, I'm going to share with you some information that you really should consider before you buy your own horse. If you're new to horses or if you haven't ridden for a long time, it's really important to either have a refresher or get some experience by taking some lessons. Horses are really big animals and they will hurt you if you don't have those basic safety tips. If you're buying a horse for your child, I would highly recommend you take them to a beginner-friendly facility. It's really important that they get some proper lessons before they're introduced to horses. When I say a facility, I don't mean a trail ride. I mean to take them to an equestrian center that will offer them proper training because of safety. Horses can range in price from hundreds to thousands of dollars. It really depends on the age, the breed, how much training they have. There's so many different factors. Make sure you have a budget in mind before you even go and look for a horse. It's really easy to be persuaded in spending more money that's outside of your budget when the horse of your dreams is standing right in front of you. As a beginner rider, you have to decide what type of riding you're even going to do before you buy a horse. Will you be riding English or Western? Are you planning to learn to compete, or are you going to be riding for pleasure only? Talk to your coach about your goals. A good riding coach is going to be able to help you answer all of those questions. Horses have a long life expectancy, so you have to be certain that you actually like riding and can commit the amount of time that's required to care for your horses. That's why it's so important to take some lessons first and just be certain that owning a horse is right for you and your family. My biggest piece of advice is please do not rush when you're buying a horse. Take your time, really talk to lots of different people, go and see lots of different horses and get a sense as to what you like about certain ones and what you don't like about certain ones. If you do get connected with a barn or even a tack shop and you get to build a relationship and you get to trust them, those people are really going to start to help you. But that's the important thing, is that don't buy the first horse that you see. Go and see multiple horses, pick up their feet, brush them, make sure that you at least see somebody get on their back and ride them, and just really trust your gut, because honestly there are so many horror stories out there where horses are given sedatives and they are a totally different horse when you get them home. If you are new to this horse world, see if you can get somebody to go with you, whether it's a friend or if it's a vet that you could pay to go with you. Take somebody that is familiar with horses, because they are going to notice things that you are not going to notice. If you are a beginner rider or you're buying a horse for your child, do not buy a young horse unless you're planning on paying somebody to train it for you. You want to look for a horse that's calm and that's appropriate for you or whoever you're buying the horse for. If you are a beginner or you're just new to horses, you can find a bomb-proof horse or a husband horse. Often these horses are old lesson horses. They're tired of teaching beginner riders and they just want their own person. Those type of horses are worth their weight in gold. Something that should be pretty far down on your list but might be disappointing is the color of your horse. Really, the color doesn't matter. You really want to look for the temperament of the horse. Even breed, there's always an exception to a rule. Some breeds are definitely calmer than others, but color doesn't matter. You're just looking to find the best fit for you. The horse needs to be suitable for the person. So it needs to be suitable for the person's size, person's height, and also for their weight. You don't want a large 18 hands high horse for a 4-year-old child. If you've seen a horse online and you're wondering, should you go and see the horse before you buy it? Because maybe online it looks perfect. You absolutely should go and see the horse before you buy it. If you're not familiar with horses, or even if you're a beginner rider, you want to see how the horse interacts with you. Not every horse is going to be a good match for the rider. Every horse, just like people, has a different personality, and they're going to be a better match for some compared to others. Let me know in the comments if you're considering to buy a horse. Is it for yourself? Is it for your children? I would love to hear your story. If you have not heard of a pre-purchase exam, this is something that you definitely need to do. This is a must if you are especially an inexperienced rider or even if you're not familiar with horses. There is a cost involved with a pre-purchase exam, but it is totally worth every penny. A pre-purchase vet exam is completed by a veterinarian. You want to know if your horse has any health problems before you purchase the horse. If you're an experienced equestrian, it's a totally different situation, but when you're a beginner, you want to know exactly what you're dealing with. The basic cost of a horse really does vary. It depends if you have your own farm or if you're going to have to pay to board your horse somewhere. If you have a horse at home, you have to consider the feed costs. So to purchase hay, you have to purchase the grain or whatever type of food that they're going to be eating. Every horse is a little bit different depending on the breed of the horse and the age of the horse. Their nutritional needs can be very different. So those are costs to definitely consider. The other thing that you do have to do is a farrier needs to come. Depending on the horse's feet, the farrier would come approximately every about 6 to 8 weeks. And a farrier is basically a specialist that comes and cuts the horse's hooves. So it's kind of like a pedicure for them. But if you don't do it correctly, it can cause a lot of problems. Veterinarian bills are something that you can't avoid. Our horses are seen at least once a year, and that's for their regular vaccinations that they have to get, as well as if there's any sort of problems that happen throughout the year, then we do have to consult with a vet. As you become more familiar with your horses, you kind of get to know sometimes that you can deal with some of the things yourself, but there's definitely going to be costs related to their medical care. When you purchase a horse, you will have to buy your own equipment and tack, and that is specific for the horse. So not all saddles fit a horse properly, so you do have to make sure the equipment is appropriate for your horse. And then of course you have your own equipment, and really the sky is the limit for purchasing stuff for yourself and your horses. But for sure you do need to buy some safety equipment for yourself. I always ride with a helmet as well as a safety vest, and if you go to an equestrian center or even a tack shop, they will be able to help you to be certain that you do have appropriate fitting gear for yourself. Horses are incredible animals, and once they get to trust you, they will do everything they can to protect you. If you've made it this far and you still think a horse is right for you and your family, make sure you check out the video on your screen right now. In that video, I will explain some tips about building stalls. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.